On today's episode of WatchJRGo, you guys probably aren't going to believe this, but I took the Land Rover out on the coldest, snowiest day of the year. As you know, it's built for the toughest and the most extreme environments on planet Earth. It's been through everything. It'll take you on a safari, it'll take you into the tundra, or it'll just break when you drive it down the highway for like 12 minutes. What is going on, guys? I'm WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, we are back in the shop with my insanely rare, one of 150 Land Rover Discovery 2 SE Kalahari Edition. So this is the version of the Discovery 2 that the Land Rover Special Vehicle Operations Unit builds. And in the last few videos with it, we got it running. We made almost every single thing on it work again. And I love driving this thing. So I've been out putting some miles on it, right? I've driven it to some events and we've had a lot of fun parking it up beside the brand new Ineos Grenadier and well, not really showing off too much of its off-road prowess because I don't want to find out what happens when you break, say, a transmission on something like this, but I've been driving it around and having a great time. So when this huge snowstorm hit last week, you can see the remnants of it out the window here. It's finally starting to clear up. I thought, what better car to take out into the snowy weather than the Land Rover, right? It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna have incredible all-wheel drive and it's gonna get me home no matter what. Well, it's true, it did get me home, but not without breaking catastrophically, and it was a rough drive home, a very slow, very rough drive home. So there I was in the Land Rover, just driving down the highway, minding my own business. This thing went all the way across the city in the snow, and I literally stopped to make fun of a Toyota 4Runner that was buried in a ditch and was never gonna get out again. I mean, it was like front suspension broken off in the ditch, and like 8 minutes later, I heard a little thud out of this thing while I was going down the highway. And about 1 second later, the battery light came on the dash, and as time progressed, well, here, let's jump into the video right now. I'll show you everything going wrong. Oh no, guys, I just heard a bunch of noise. We're out on the highway in the Land Rover. I was so happy about how well it was doing in the snow, and I think she just tapped. I heard, I assume the bell fly off the back because now you can see we have that battery light there. Just make it a couple more miles, girl. I'm gonna stay. Oh no, the temp's going up so fast. We definitely lost the accessory belt. It is skyrocketing. I gotta slow down. It's upset. Poor Land Rover. Doing so well. But now we blew all the coolant out of it. And then, of course, without the battery charging, everything in the car got incredibly mad to the point where the temp gauge shut off, the transmission locked itself in limp mode where you only have like second gear. So both transmission lights were on the dash. Like every single thing on it went wrong because it was very, very upset about not having a charging system, a power steering pump, or a water pump. You know, basically everything is driven off of that belt there. It didn't need its AC, of course, but the truck was incredibly mad. So it made it home, nonetheless. It made it home. It was still obviously super angry about doing that as well. Once I got here, it was still busy blowing coolant out of the overflow tank. So it ended up blowing a bunch of coolant out on the floor from that. But eventually, everything calmed down, and I think it's just fine. But today we're gonna jump in here and figure out what went wrong and what we have to do to fix it, because I think, I assume the accessory belt's gone. I've dropped accessory belts before. Usually they make a bunch of noise and usually you hear bearing squeal before it happens. Not on this. There wasn't a single warning, not even a squeal, and just all of a sudden, I assume the accessory belt left the chat. They usually like break in half and head down the road, so let's see what happened. It's time to open up the hood again on the old Land Rover, something that unfortunately I've gotten very good at, even if it is incredibly hard. So you just sneak your hand in here like so, and stretch, and you can get it. All right, what are we working with here? Well, the belt's in there, look at that. That is better than we expected. Let's see what locked up. I assume we lost an accessory. That's usually why this happens here. So we'll shove the belt back in a little bit to try to find ourselves a little room to work. I don't know, alternator sounds good to me. Sound good to you guys? I don't think that's bad. And AC compressor spinning away. There's the tensioner. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's really hard to even get your hand in there, but not noisy, spinning away. Water pump seems like it turns. It's the whole fan. I don't know if I can get my hand on the power steering pump. It's turning. Seems fine to me. All right, well, I think that's everything that mattered in the chain there. Look at that. Did you guys just see this? Wow. Never in my life. The bearing doesn't exist. It just, oh, that was the bearing hitting the floor. Wow. I've never seen a tensioner fail that badly. That explains why the belt got thrown off. It only needed to go like that, like one time to chuck it off of there. It just fell on the floor here. Cooling. Kind of weird. I was expecting to see bearing pieces on the floor after that noise we just heard. All right, what do we have to do to take this off of here? Somehow we have to get this accessory belt out of here. Let's get some light in there so you guys can see how bad it is. I can see it's doubled up on itself inside there. The entire accessory belt is rolled up in knots under there. I know it's really hard to see, but that is an absolute disaster. It's weird, the accessory belt actually looks like it did okay. But we gotta get this tensioner off of here. Not sure how that comes off yet, and we have to get that belt out of there, so let's get to digging. Oh, there's another tensioner. So I guess we just have to get this belt torn out. We'll start by taking off this top cover here. That should give me a little access. You have to sneak it out of this radiator hose here and lift up the hose and slide forward, and you'll be able to get that out of there. And hopefully that gives us just enough room to get in here and work on this belt. Woo, look at all that room. All you have to do is pull off that cover and suddenly you can get to the fan and you can kind of get to the belt. You can really work on this thing. So I know some people were concerned when I did the radiator video where we fixed all the coolant leaks, if this line was in the right spot. And yes, before it went through there and it kind of looked like that was the factory routing, but I fixed it. The correct routing is directly up against the radiator just like that. And you can see it fits in here with the factory bend perfectly. So that is all together and working great. We just have to get in here and undo what is a literal knot in the accessory belt. So I don't know what it's gonna take to untie this knot. I don't even know if it's possible, but hey, we're gonna try it here. Maybe I can just pull the whole thing out. Kinda going. You have to pull real hard to do this. All right guys, I'm going up in the engine bay. Let's see if I can reach in here and make it flip back around. Guys, I have been in here pulling on this belt for 20 minutes and it's, okay, it has budged. It was a complete knot. It was, I'd say, triple knotted around the water pump and the water pump wouldn't move. So far, I've gotten to the point where we have just a single knot on the water pump. And if I can get it fully on the water pump's pulley, which is what I'm trying to do right now, I think we'll be able to pull on it and slide the belt out. So it may be more than triple knotted, or we may have just gotten it. So that's our options right now. We either won or it's way worse than I thought, because this belt will not come out and it is still definitely fully twisted. Oh, there's one more knot down here by the crank pulley. Cool. Love that. All right, I see the second knot down here. Can we get there? If we can get the belt to stop crossing over itself, I think we'll succeed. It won't move. I am mind blown that this thing got so twisted up and didn't ruin everything on the engine. All right, now I see our knot has moved. This is a lot of fun. Become a mechanic, they said. Work on cars all day, they said. Oh, come on, just let me get that last part where the belt's turned over, and I think we're home free. Yeah, baby! I think we're home free. I'm pulling, and it's not moving. Wow, the water pump is still locked up. Is it in front of and behind the water pump? I don't get it. I think when you get to this point, guys, you should just cut the belt. But there's nothing wrong with this belt. It's actually in really good shape, other than the fact that it's twisted. I do think we're gonna end up cutting it, but I'm gonna keep pulling it out of here just in case we can't get another one or something.
A few minutes later.
That's it, guys. We're cutting it. I don't think this is coming out any other way. Let's find some kind of tool we think we can cut an accessory belt with. It's usually scissors. Scissors are the best tool on earth. But when you need scissors, they're never around, so let's try these wire cutters instead. Oh yeah, that's progress. It's gonna take a lot of bites. Come on, progress. I know you guys can't see me cutting through the belt here, but we're gonna get there. There's really no access to the front of this engine. It's not a fun job. All right, the belt is cut. Let's climb back in here and start pulling on it and see what we can find. Hopefully an end. Ah, that's all it needed. It was so easy. Still behind the water pump a little bit. There it is. Yep. Even got the part number. It's a Dayco 7PK2342. So I guess it's gonna be easy to replace. Anytime you got the model number, it's pretty easy. Whew. Okay, that was one part down, and the second part now is how do you get this tensioner out of here? So from what I can see, you literally just unbolt the middle bolt on the tensioner. Oh, the water pump runs great. No wobble? All right, perfect. Thank you, thank you. I was a little worried that it might have torn it up, but I think everything's all right. So now we just have to get in here. Wow, the bearing is missing. I've never seen anything like this. I just have to get in here and get this whole tensioner assembly off. Here's what we're working with here, guys. So you've got this bolt here on the pulley, where the pulley is, I mean, the bearing is missing. Like I said, unheard of. It must have like chucked the individual balls out of there or something. And then you've got this bolt right here. There are other bolts around it, but those are clearly connected to the alternator bracket. So hopefully you just pull this one bolt and it comes off. But normally if you pull this bolt, the tensioner kind of explodes. So let's just get in here and try it. We also need to get this battery on the charger real quick. I don't think it had a good time getting me home, and it was of course freezing too, very hard on the battery. So there was nothing on. As soon as this happened, I shut off all the accessories, the radio, the HVAC, you know, so that should have shut off the amp and the blower, a lot of the high draw stuff. And it was daytime, so the lights weren't on. Like, it didn't need to power that much, but I think it was very upset about having to get me home with the truck. So that's next. We'll put this on a charger right after we finish pulling off this bolt. So this is a 13 down here on this accessory, on this tensioner. Let's see if we can get on here. It's actually really hard to get on here. This giant coolant pipe here is always in your way while you're working on this. I almost wonder if they want you to pull that pulley off first. But let's see if we can just get one bite out of the ratchet. All right, guys, I need both hands. I'm gonna pull on this coolant tee here and try to work on that bolt at the same time, and hopefully we can get it to pop off. Woo! This thing came right off. It was literally just that one bolt, I think. Here, let's get it out of here. All right, so I pulled off that center bolt. It looks like the tensioner comes out as a unit. Good luck getting it out of here. It does not want to move. So we'll try to get the bolt out first. Wow. That is truly stuck in there. All right, that's how you do it. Wiggle, 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 and then let the pulley fall down, and you'll get it out of there. Let's take this thing apart. Dayco. I bet this is original. I mean, it's got 140,000 miles on it, so I'm not gonna be too mad at them, but look at that, it blew all the grease out of the bearing. That's a failure. I doubt they want you to service this, but this long bolt here with the 13 is the center one that holds the tensioner to the accessory bracket there, the alternator bracket. You can see you can remove that entire bracket as one piece, or you can kind of piece everything out of there. But over here on this tensioner, wow, that bearing's separated. That's crazy. It never made a single noise, guys. You heard this thing running over and over and over. So this is pretty nutty to see. There's the inner race of the bearing. That's what's left of the bearing. and all the balls are missing. Well, I don't think that's even gonna get rebuilt because it did a little machining on the inside of that. So if we put a new bearing on it, I bet it doesn't sit straight. Probably just self-destructs quickly after. So I do think they sell this. It's kind of weird because they show like multiple spring tensioners on the old internet. I don't think there are multiple, so I think I might just have to buy one and then see what happens. I do know there are none that you can get quickly. You could definitely swap out the bearing on this side. No big deal, it's pressed in, but could be done. Anyway, that is an exploded tensioner, the most damage I've ever seen. And the accessory belt did not fare much better. It absolutely knotted up inside there. You can see it's in really good shape. It's not like traditionally cracked everywhere, but there are a few cracks now, and it seems like that might have happened from it just getting rolled up into a ball. Most of it's in the stress areas. So, oh well. New accessory belt. Well, there you go. That's what happens on a normal day when you take out your Land Rover because you figure it's the best option for the snow. It might be, but it's not the best option for getting you home. Anyway, we got the battery on the charger. Surprisingly, it was at 12 volts. Let's see, 52% is what it's saying, but at least the battery isn't dead, so we're not deep cycling it. That's always good news there. I'm gonna order some parts and we're gonna put this thing back together later this week, I hope. I kinda looked just a second ago and it doesn't seem like I'm gonna be able to get parts quickly. They're not in town, they're not at any of the hubs. I mean, it's Land Rover parts, so they're rare. Before we go though, let's make sure it still runs. I'm sure it's fine, but I do wanna jump in here and start it and make sure the Land Rover isn't mad at me. I'll tell you what, I'm not mad at it. It got me home and it was absolutely well below freezing outside. And it wouldn't have been fun calling someone else to come get me. So far, good noises. I think we're okay. All right. I like everything that just happened, except for the check alternator light. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. At least it looks good, even when it's broken. I love this thing. It's just such a classic looking car, but you know, you pay for it. You pay for it in the reliability department. And the bumper generally keeps falling a little bit more apart. More pieces of this fell off in the cold here. So you'll like just touch it and a little chunk of plastic will fall off.